knowledge and all the effective and efficient team, technical team behind him who work along with him. Thank you so much for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my knowledge and my experience in the field of HRM and in the field of communication with you all. And before that, I'm so glad to convey my wishes to all of you, and also my advanced Pongal wishes to all of you. So I think I can start my session now. Yes, ma'am? Yes. Okay, ma'am. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So communication, so it's not a very new or a novel term to all of us. So we all are facing the term. We all are used to hear the term in a day-to-day life. So, but in what ways the communication will become so novel to us? Because we start with the basic introduction, a basic meaning of communication. So many people, they misunderstood communication is equivalent to a language, but actually it is not like that. Many people, they will say, I'm very proficient in English, I can communicate with the language of English at any platform. But actually the communication is not only means of language. It's about the exchange or sharing your opinions, emotions, and your responses to other people. That is called only communication. Even though you have no language proficiency in English or in some other language, so we can be a good communicator actually. So we are not the only person, or we are not the only creature in the whole world to communicate. Actually, all the species, all the creatures in the universe, they used to communicate with the chemical process. They used to communicate. So all the insects, all the animals, fishes, all the birds, they used to communicate. So the only difference is, so as humans, we can easily sing, we can talk, we can communicate, we can speak. So we can yell at people, we can murmur. So with a skill of speaking, so we do a lot of things in a, okay. So especially at workplace, it is quite inevitable. You can't avoid communicating with people with your communication skills. And many training programs used to organized by many institutions for the students and also the academicians for the better communication. Because the communication is not a new term, as I already told you. So many years we would see the concepts has been evolving till now. So the technological penetration plays a very crucial role while we are communicating with other people. But the basic element, the basic component of communication still exists actually. Okay. Yes. So we are going to start the session with some technical and some core elements of communication. So let me start with the objectives of communication. So why we need communication in your workplace? Because many of the participants can be in academic area, or they can be a practitioner, they can be a professors, or any other person can be here in the webinar. But we all need communication. Yes. So if you are a student, so many people, they insist you to be have a good communication. So try to talk in English, try to talk in English in front of students or professors. Okay, because people made you insist, because you have to be proficient in terms of communication. So because we all are in a multicultural environment, so many people, they are coming from different places. Actually, technically, we are talking about migration. So within India or abroad, in abroad, people used to migrate for entertainment, for celebration, for tourism, or for education, for many other reasons we used to migrate. In this scenario, the English is the only common medium to all of us to share our feelings and opinion with all of them. So for that reasons, academicians and some other eminent professors or some other practitioners, they insist us to talk in English. Okay, so that is the only reason that why we all are using the language of English. So beyond that, so we all can be aware of what kind of communication style we have and in what mode we are talking with other persons. Yes. So these are some of the common reasons. We start with the reasons of basic communication at your workplace. So first reason, I start with the relationship. If you really want to have good relationship with your colleagues, your supervisor and your subordinates, so you should have a very good communication. Yes. Second, appreciation. If you really want to share your appreciation or your warnings, if you want to advise or counsel people, and the language you use or the way you communicate your expression to others, that is quite important. So we have to aware of that. So we can just go on, we can't just go and talk people like that. So we have to empathize them. We have to focus on what kind of people they are, from what background they are coming from, so what intention they have to communicate with us. All those factors are influencing while we are communicating with people. Okay. And the fourth point I'm giving you is agreement. So while you're doing some business, as I'm from a management studies background, so I have got a lot of chance to meet lot of entrepreneurs in my life. So they always having a deal with us. So even when we have an informal conversation with them, so they have a deal for us. So ma'am, you do this, so in return we will have an agreement. So in that way, so they always have an agreement. So in your workplace too, you ask your people to convince, to agree with your point. So the next thing is to motivate people. So if you are a teacher or if you are a student or if you are a practitioner or a business person, what kind of person you are, in to some extent you have to motivate your people who work with them or who work under your headship. So at the time, the motivation is a very quite or crucial element to getting work done from others or getting things done. Okay. So to motivate people, so you need good communication, and to give and receive orders from your superiors or from your colleagues, or to give orders to your subordinates, you have to focus on your communication. And so to warn people, sometimes we are in an authoritative position and we have a situation to warn people, or to, and with your communication, the slang you use and the words and the mode you adopt, all those things will make people afraid of your comments. So I don't want you to make them people afraid of your comments. Actually, so your communication or your words and the statement you use that help people to obey to your order or to cope up with the rules what you framed in your business. Yes. The next thing is to improve morale. So we all know about the morale. That is about the attitude of people towards you, or the attitude of people towards the business or some other thing. So if people lose their morale, if they don't like you, or if they don't like your business or your company in the business, they won't go with you. So your communication will help them to go with you. So the next thing is convey rules, and that is the most important factor to all the academicians. And it is also a crucial point for the students too, because some students, they have a point. If someone come and order you, if someone come and tell you the rules, you totally dislike that, because we all, as we all the social animals, we don't like rules. Even it is a rule from, or it is a rule from society, or it is a rule from teacher or a business, we don't like rules. But your communication, the way you convey the rules, that will make the person convinced. Okay, so that's why I always insist my students and my people who work along with me, the importance of communication. And so some technical points I have given, so I think so we can skip these points. Yes. Then internal external communication, or we can say what kind of people we have to face in your business. The first set of people are the employees. Okay, if you are an employer, you can complete your MSc, or you can complete your MEd or whatever program. You maybe worked as a middle level manager position. So at that time, you can be the manager. As a manager, you are accountable for the entire work or entire business. So at the time, the people who work under your leadership, so they are your responsibility. You have to make them work. You have to make them obey to your orders. So it's a very crucial work actually. So we all can think working as a manager is a very lethargic job. It's a very funful job, but actually it is not like that. If you work with machines, so machine will accept your orders. Yes, if you click OK, yes, it will accept your order. If you work with money, so it has no emotions, you can easily work with the money. Okay, but the only critical, the most difficult job in the world is handling people. So handling people is the most difficult job that made you more stressful sometimes. Okay, so for avoiding the stress, get your work done from your workers to make this more successful. So as a manager or as a employer, you have to be so aware of your communication style. So you can be so friendly with your employees. So if you really want to yell at them, if you really want to scold at them, so no issues. But the way you are communicating the instruction, the way you are telling your words, that is quite important. And second thing is government or departments like income tax office or offices, labor offices, auditors. So like all those people you have to meet in your business or in your business life or in your professional life. So when you meet some outside persons, especially the government officials, your communication is quite important. Then at the time, your communication style has to be changed. So there are different types of communication. We can see those points later. But before that, we have to aware of your communication style. To whom you have to maintain what kind of communication. If you are going to tell some instructions to your employees or your workers, that communication style will be entirely different. And the same way, if you are going to meet some government officials or the outside parties who are going to offer something to you, then your communication should be so formal, and you have to be so aware of your communication at the time. And the third point, customers, clients, or sometimes if you are a medical practitioners, you have to meet some patients, and if you are a teacher, you have to face some students. So in this time, so they are the core part of your business. They are the core part of your whole career life. So at the time, your communication has to be fully empathized regarding your respondents or your customers. Okay, and the last person is outsider. So if you are doing a business or sometimes in academic life too, we are in the position to meet many outsiders like dealers, wholesalers, or distributors, suppliers, or consultants for your business or for your college. At the time too, you have to be so aware of what kind of communication. So like you have to be stick on to your plans. You have to stick on to what you have in your mind, because those kind of people, like I said, dealers, wholesalers, distributors and suppliers and consultants, all those people are very smart and very clever. They have the capacity to convince for their agreements. So at the time only, we have to be so aware. So we have to stick on to your plans. And if you really want to bargain with them, or you want to have some agreements, or you want to have some dealing with them, so you have to change your communication style at that time. Yes, we can see the general process of communication. So we all aware of it, but for the sake of presentation, I'm just giving you this. So let me make it so short. So the communication is a very hectic and very crucial process, but that happens in a fraction of a second, but we are not aware of it. So the sender, as we are the communicator, we are the sender of the communication process. And encoding. So before we communicate our message or information, we encode the message. Okay, that means we are preparing our message, what we are going to tell them. So whether or we going to inform any good news, like we are going to have some bonus, or we are going to have some leave. In that way, if you are going to have a positive news, or you are going to give the instructions, or you are going to convey the rules. So in that way, you have to prepare your message and your style of communication. Yes. And in the next stage, after you encode your message, you started communicate the message to the participant or your receiver. So you have to choose your medium or your channel, to which medium you are going to convey your message, or you type the process. Sorry, are you typing your message through WhatsApp or some other social media network, or are you going to write the message in a paper, or are you going to talk with them directly or through over phone? So you have to select your modem of communication in the third stage. And the next stage, the receiver will receive the message. So I have given you the decoding in the fourth stage, because before the message will be interpreted by the receiver just gain the message. Okay, the process of decoding is converting your message into the understandable way to the receiver, based on their language, based on their culture, based on their perception towards the sender. Then after the decoding process is over, the receiver understand the message, and based on the understanding, he or she will give you the feedback. Okay, this is the common form of communication. And the communication, yes. So yes, these are the process. Yes. So communications based on the medium and expression. So we can divide them into two. So one is verbal communication and another one is non-verbal communication. So we all are aware of it, the verbal communication. The words, letters, alphabets, numbers you're using for your communication, that is called verbal communication. So the verbal communication can also be broadly classified into oral and written communication. So we all are very much comfortable with the oral communication. So you have a colleague in your business, you have a colleague in your college, so you really want to go with them and ask them some help or give them some instruction or share your emotions or feelings with them. That is very comfortable to all of us in your real time. But the written communication, here is the point we all or suffer. Sometimes we all are sometimes uncomfortable while we are writing. So we used to type in a WhatsApp message. So 10 years back, I used to think. So I fully typed like a good morning to all of you. Good morning to everyone. But nowadays, what it happens? So GDMRG. Okay. So again, it shrinked and the communication has shrinked, and we all used to type GM. So GM, which means it may be general manager or it may be a good morning. Okay. So the understanding will be entirely different. Okay. So it's my humble request to all of you to type the full words whenever you talk with the officials, or whenever talk or whenever you communicate some information in official or academic medium. So you can type the full text or give them full meaning. Yes. So oral conversation or oral communication is happening in a day-to-day life from the morning you wake up until you go to bed. So we used to talk. Even though you can ask me, so some what people or other like deaf and dumb people, what how they can communicate. So they also have some sign language. That's why we have a separate called non-verbal communication. So all the persons, all the individual persons, we have the ability to talk, but some person used to talk, some person used to write, and some person used to have some non-verbal languages. Yes. So in your day-to-day life or in your business and professional life, what kind of oral communication we used to have? So the telephone talk with your boss, with your colleagues, or with your subordinate, general discussion, GD. We used to say it is GD. Yes, then interview. So as if you are a student, as a student, you have to face the scenario called interview, and the face-to-face conversation. So with your colleagues, yes. So when you are communicating with your friends or your colleagues at workplace with the oral mode, so you have to be so careful, because at a fraction of second we will communicate that information. We will tell what you are thinking in your mind, uh, because we are not aware of the outcomes. We are not aware of what will happen if we tell one harsh word to them, or if our language or if our point is not very correct, what will happen. We are not aware of it, but we have to be so conscious, because there's a lot of positives while you're handling with written communication. So you have the laptop, you have a tablet, or you have a mobile in your hand, so you can type and you can erase all the message at any time. So still many social media networks, they are giving us a better option, that if you type one wrong message to a wrong person, immediately you can delete. So there's an option called delete the message to everyone. Okay, in that way too, you can delete your message. So instantly you can remove the mistakes you have done. But oral communication is not like that. So without having any hesitation, you can practice. So even though you have a very good experience in your profession, so every time you have a situation to face your customer, you or face a patient or face a student, so you can have the trial in your mind. So you can have a preparation for the oral communication. And so when we come to the written we all are very much comfortable sometimes, but sometimes the written communication is more uncomfortable to many people, because it will not be erasable once you submit one report, once you send some mail to persons. So it is very stagnant, and people used to comment on your report or comment on your writing. So that's why many people are not feeling so comfortable with the written communication. So the situations are like, you can write a letter, from simple leave letter to simple resignation letter. So some report submitted by the academicians to the college, or report submitted by the students to the teachers. So the memos given by the employer to the workers. So instruction books, so guidelines book, so annual reports, so complaint or permission letter, all those are examples of written communication. But once you decided you are going to communicate your message through the written mode, so you have to be so careful, and you have to frame all your sentences, frame all your ideas in a very well efficient manner. Yes. So other examples are, so we can find some attractive and catchy taglines like boost is the best of my energy. Those kind of taglines are still catchy, still many kids or people used to tell words. So many advertisements, the pamphlets, when you go through some travel, or when you go through some process in your life, so you can see lot of catchy words. Yes. So it may be a oil packet, or it may be a retail sector, or it can be a chocolate. So whatever it is, can read the slogans and taglines they used. So because they use the written communication to attract the customers to, and also to retain the loyal customers to their products. Okay. So it's quite important. The written communication is quite important to all of us, because it will tell to other peoples what kind of people are, and what is my stuff and what is our stuff. Yes. And non-verbal communication, knowingly or unknowingly, we used to have some non-verbal language or some sign languages in a daily life. So it's non-verbal, which means you have no words at all. So without having any words, you're communicating your expressions, feelings, and opinions to others, with others. That is called a non-verbal communication. Yes. Yes. So nowadays, as I told you, a lot of technical aids are helping us to having a better and efficient communication. Even the people who are not with you, people who stays in abroad too, you can communicate. Okay, with the video calls, chats, conference calls, so photographs, images, some logos and advertisements, some PowerPoint materials, ebooks, PDF, with all those soft copy elements and all those electronic items, we can easily communicate our emotions with others. And the second and core important non-verbal element is a body language, because we all are not aware of what kind of body language we have. So when we used to have our body language, see, because when we beautify ourselves, we used to go and see your mirror. Okay, but it's better, before you talk with the audience, in front of your audience, you can have a trial in front of your mirror at your house. Okay, so you can ask your colleagues, or you can ask your family members or friends to comment on your body language. That's why with the poor body language only, we all not only we all, many of them are used to fail in the workplaces. So because of the poor body language. So even though your communication, your intention is very genuine, your message is very formal and very splendid. So the way you communicate your message to others, that can be hamper your communication. So the way you sit, the way you contact with the people, so you just nod your head, your body gestures, your facial expressions, all those things will hamper your communication, or that sometimes that help you to have a better communication actually. So we can aware of it. And this is just a simple posture. Congratulations, you are the best employee of the year 2020. So a simple posture. So this help the people to have a better understanding of the message. So you don't need to have a meeting, you don't need to talk with everyone. So with the simple images, logos and text also, you can communicate message to your audience. Yes. On the flow of information. So in your workplace, so we have to confront three types of people. So the first type of people or first flow of information is called the horizontal or lateral people. People who are residing in the same place that is equivalent to you. So if you are a manager, if you have a communication with another manager, that is called the horizontal or lateral communication. So in this time, you have to be so careful, because the another person or another person you are going to talk with, that person has also has the same kind of responsibility. That person can also same salary. That person possesses same responsibility and dignity in the company. So at the time, so you have to be so aware of the communication. You can be so friendly with them. So, and the next type is vertical communication, that can also be called as the upward communication. So when as a middle manager, as a middle person, you will act as a bridge between the top level management and the lower level management. So just imagine the situation: if you are a teacher, so if you are a professor in a college, you are the bridge between the management and the student. So you have to get information from the management and communicate it clearly and efficiently to your students. In the same way, you have to get the complaints and reports from the students and convey it to your management. So without having any flaw, you have to do the work proficiently. Okay. So in this time, you have additional responsibility, because your communication, your work will determine something in your workplace. So if your communication is not very good, the problem will occur. There will be a lot of disaster we have to face. Okay, so that's why when you become a middleman, when you become a bridge between two parties, maybe either supervisor or a labor or a CEO, between a labor and manager, you have to be so aware. And the last one is cross or diagonal flow of information, because at many situations, to communication, persons who are not at the equal level to us, or sometimes they are below to our cadre, or sometimes they can be persons who are not totally unrelated to our field. So as a teacher, you have an opportunity to talk with a dealer who delivery some products to your college. So as a consultant, you may run a clinic, you may run a training institute in your own place, and at the time too, so you have to meet some masons, you have to meet some engineers, so who do some engineering works in your business. At the time, uh, those people have no relationship with you at all, but their professions, their intention, the way they communicate with you is entirely different. So at the time, so you have to be so you have to empathize what kind of people they are and what kind of words and mode you have to adopt. It's a very common form of communication is formal and informal communication, because we all love informal communication. So the formal communication will tell you how to talk with manager, how to talk with customer. Once if you enter into a business, the company will entirely train you to how to talk with your customers, so how to get offers, how to get orders from your clients. So in that way, we all have a formal communication. If you are a teacher, you have a communication with your student, because we have a formal flow of language proficiency, we have a formal flow of communication styles. If you are students, you also know how to talk with the teacher, how to talk with the other professors or your classmates for some other works. This is a quite common one. The second thing is very informal communication we have in our day-to-day personal and professional life, because informal communication is quite powerful and very catchy and very speedy. So if you really want to communicate some information regarding an assignment or regarding a work we have to complete, the people will be so lethargic, so they don't have any responsibility, because okay, as usual we have a circle, as usual we have a work. In that way only they are giving interest or they are giving attention on your formal information. But when you're try to give some gossips, when you're trying to have some informal chat with them, they will be so enthusiastic, and you can easily communicate those kind of information with informal communication. So common chats, conversations, informal talks, and gossips all are the examples of informal communication. Yes. So I'm not advising you to have informal communication with your boss or customer, but you can be so friendly with all the persons you can talk. So if you are a tea attender in your college, if you are a person who's just a sweeper in your place, if you are satisfied with the work who done in your workplace, so please don't shout at them. Instead of that, you can ask what kind of problem they have. Okay, you may have lot of work, you may or not you may have some physical or family issues. So in that way, if you have started with some informal communication, they will be so loyal to you, and for some personal sake only, they will do some proficient work. So try to have formal communication with informal mode, and that's why I'm talking the gray point communication. Gray communication is nothing but your informal communication. So we used to not aware of the term gray point, because many people, we are quite interested with the gossips. So, and very unauthenticated information can be spreaded throughout the company, informal communication. So many people, they ask us to avoid the gossips, but sometimes if you really want to engage your people, really want to have a good relationship with people, so you can follow the gray point. Gray point, which means informal communication. You can start with, so how's the day, did you have your lunch, how's your baby, how's your family, okay, let's go to work. This kind of communication will make you so more comfortable with you, and then only you can start your formal commands or orders. And so with the penetration of technology in our academic and professional life, we can communicate with people who are not in India. So across the people, we can communicate. So telecommunication with your virtual, that are called as telecommunication or virtual communication. So in many reasons, so under many circumstances, we have an opportunity to talk with people or in abroad. So across India too, we can have the situation. So it may be an employee, a franchisee, or a dealer, or a customer, your colleague. Your colleague may also work in a different place across India. So in that time too, you can adopt a different or modern communication technologies like WhatsApp or video call or Gmeet. This kind of aids will help you to have a proficient communication. And it can be also technically, it can be also be called as virtual communication tools or virtual communication through video conferencing, email, or mobile phones or tablets. You can have your communication. Yes. So social has become a part of our life. It has become a part of our body too. So from the morning and to till we go to bed, so we used to update ourselves in social media through WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, to Tumblr. So in like this, we have lot of social media here. So the social media communication is quite important here. If you're not updated in social media, so you will be considered as outdated in the field. So fortunately or unfortunately, we are in the era to cope up with the social media intervention and the social media development. So to some extent, we have to be cope up with the social media communication mode. So we have to aware of it. So what kind of status you are going to post, what kind of comments you are going to give. So in that way too, you can be aware of your communication style. Even all of your colleagues, all of your staff members, all of your students can start a WhatsApp group. You all can be friends in Facebook, Facebook ID. So in that way, so you have to be so careful, and you have to shape your communication model. So for having a better relationship with people, yes. And so the or dark area of communication, so the barriers. So we have a lot of barriers, lot of factors that will hamper your communication. So for your convenience, I'm just highlighting very few points. the first major problem regarding communication is language barrier, because as already I told you, many people they think language, which means English is the only way of best communication tool, but it is not like that, because we have to accept this. We have the situation that we are facing lot of workforce diversity in your workplace. So people, they came from different culture, they came from different place across India and across the world. They talk differently. Their slangs, the words they use, their accent, everything will be different. So at the time, you have to accept this. So accept the workforce diversity and accept the multicultural work environment. So if some person is not very good in English, you can forgive them. So that's not a big deal at all. So you try to have a common communication mode, so you can have a very uh, a common understanding of others' language. So that way we can overcome the language barrier. And the next thing is cultural differences. Once we meet a person, that if the person is coming from different culture, so we have a mind block. So the person will be like this person can be a hard worker, this person will be so cunning. In that way, we are developing an assumption and perception towards another person who are coming from different culture. So to avoid this, so we can accept their culture, and we have to accept there are some cultural differences in India. So not only in India, across the globe, there are a lot of cultural differences. To overcome this problem, so we try to accept their culture, we try to respect their culture. So that this is the only option to avoid the cultural differences that hamper your communication and perception. So we all have different perception, even though we may have some close friends, you have some close persons in your family. We have different perception. We would see some lot of different perceptual problems in our day-to-day life with your family members. So if one person says six, another person from the other person's point of view, it looks like nine. Okay, in that way, if you are going to take some decisions, you are going to design your logo, you are going to have any assignments. So different persons have different perceptions. So try to empathize other people. This is the only solution to avoid the perceptual error. And the next important thing is the emotional barrier. When you're in the anger mood, when you're in the stress, you can't listen anything, you will not communicate anything in a very proficient way. So please be calm, let them free. So please don't rush them to answer, or to rush them to complete the work, or to rush them to respond immediately. So give them some space, give them some rest to bounce back from their emotional problem. So then only you can avoid the emotional barrier. And the mind blocks. So we have mind blocks. We have a lot of mind blocks regarding many things, like towards your colleague, towards your boss, towards your uniform, towards your syllabus, or many things. So you have mind block. Just be open. Being openness is the only solution to avoid the communication problems. And the medium of communication you are choosing. So if you are working in a college, and you have to be aware of the students and their temperament, what kind of people and where are they coming from. So if they are coming from rural area, so you can have a very simple language, you can use some face to face and face to face communication with them. And in case if if your audience or if your receiver is from a very proficient and eminent background, then only you can show all your proficiency there. Then so medium of communication, that is also quite important factor. And poor attention. So our attention span is very limited actually. Our maximum attention span for a human or for an Indian is 20 minutes. The minimum attention span for us is 20, I think 20 seconds. So in that way, so don't be please descriptive, be short, and be so narrative. So in that way only you can grasp the attention of your audience or your colleagues. And gossips, don't give your ears for gossips or informal talks. I only said you can have an informal talks, you can have your grapevine communication, but too much of gossips, too much of informal talks will hamper your communication. So it will directly or indirectly affect your work at workplace. So then status barrier. that will affect your communication.
Ma'am, your audio is not clear. Ma'am, your audio is not, we are not able to hear you, ma'am. Can you please check your side? Ma'am? Ma'am, you can reconnect, ma'am, maybe. Yes, actually, there's an technical issue from that speaker side. I agree. I think it is an interesting session. even, even though I was driving, I was mostly concentrated on presentation only. Ma'am, can you please check your side? Hello? No, can you please do me a favor? You can disconnect and then reconnect me. Salim sir, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay. I think your voice is clear. Aksaya, Aksaya, it's quite interesting. And then strategies, I think, is the need of the hour. We need to know what is the effective strategy we can adopt for better communication. But I try to conduct. Dear participant, I think the resource person having some technical problem and there is an raining in the place of a resource person. So we would like to have another session on effective strategies for better communication. I think I can say in a brief feedback for our session. Even though when I was driving, I can listen her. It is about, ma'am, presented about what is communication, what are the different types of communication, and why we have to give importance to the non-verbal communication, and how what are the different components are there. As of now, we just listen these things with appropriate examples also we listen. Thank you so much for today's presentation, ma'am. And I can see that input by the participant in the comment box also. It shows that the commitment to give you that quality input to the participants over here. We appreciate your today's presentation, ma'am, and we would like to have your the effective intervention strategy on 19th. Coming 19th, we will have one more session with the same resource person. And yes, yes, Reshma, I'm saying that yes, definitely we are going to have one more session. And now I request Dr. Salim sir to propose the vote of thanks right now. Sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Suresh sir. It's my pleasure. Actually, we had the good session about communication. So unfortunately, due to technical things, we couldn't able to hear the strategies. So you rightly said the strategy is very, very important. So definitely we are going to have. So I would, Dr. Jyoti Lakshman very well clearly explained about the communication in different aspects from starting from the objective of the communication. It's very, very important. She nicely explained about like agreement, relationship to motivate the people, because in the company, so boss and subordinate, there will be the definitely conversation, official conversations, and of course there is a relationship boss and subordinate. So we have the mutual agreement. So the boss has to motivate the people. So all those things we need the communication, either verbally and non-verbal. Sometimes verbal is required, sometimes informal. As he said, graph point communications also required non-structural direction. Sometimes motivation is required out of offices or unofficially, so we have to motivate them. So Dr. Jyoti Lakshman nicely explained the graph point communication, and she rightly explained the process of communication, including sender to decoding, receiver, and feedback. The model of the communication she very clearly explained, and we know the channels and we know the feedback and encoding, decoding, all those things. And of course, she explained body languages, style, eye contact, head nodding, gestures. Sometimes we know there is a saying, the people used to say, smile and silent is the powerful tool. Sometimes unnecessarily we are smiling also problem. Sometimes unnecessarily we are having the silence also problem. So we should know where to smile and where to be silent. So there is a communications playing vital role in the organizations. In Japanese, they have the bottom to top communication type of model. So from bottom line, like supervisor, worker, they can reach up to the managing director. They can give the feedback. So very good communication system from bottom to top management. And some organization only the top to bottom, like orders will be issued from the superiors, and there will be no feedbacks from the downline people. So there's two different strategies in the communications, top to bottom, bottom to top. So better one is in the Japanese model. Of course, Dr. Jyoti Lakshman madam explained a lot of barriers like language, cultural gossips, status barrier, of course, and boss and superiors, all those things. So we had a very good session, I believe. So thanks to Dr. Jyoti Lakshman ma'am and the participant also. Kindly accept our gratitude on behalf of American College Madurai and MS Chellamuthi Institute Madurai and Madras School of Social Work Chennai and Red Panda Educational and Psychological Center Madurai and Psycho Oncological Association Turkey. Thank you, Dr. Jyoti Lakshman ma'am. Thank you all the participants. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir, for your amazing. You consolidated everything. Summary of the presentation made by Dr. Jyoti Lakshman ma'am. And thank you all for your continuous support. We'll meet. We'll have that part 2 of today's session, that strategies for better communication at workplace and in general. We have it on coming January 19th. So with that, I think we will wind up today's session. Thank you all. We'll meet tomorrow. Bye. Thank you, ma'am.